Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:03. It's 79 already, and it's going to be in the 90s again. Yesterday, a record-setting day in Chicago, 97 at O'Hare, so that was the hottest ever for that day.
Love it. Love the 90s.
Yeah, now here's the thing. Let me take you to what happened yesterday. Take you back a little bit because we had family in town, and they come in, and we're going to the Cubs game tomorrow. All great Chicago things to go do to show them the city. I love it. I love being the concierge for Chicago, and people come in and they haven't been here. And I go, we're going here, we're going here, we're going to do this, we're going to the beach, we're going all this stuff. Anyway, Pequods was on schedule for last night. 10 of us total getting the Pequods, which, you know, if you've been to Pequods, you know it's very small and tiny and 97 degrees.
Can I say something really fast? Did you have restaurant anxiety? You know you have a large group and you're like going to a restaurant that probably won't fit them?
Here's the thing.
I get so tense. Like going out it was just like my immediate family, like my kids and my husband on Father's Day getting brunch.
Yeah.
I had anxiety the whole time. I'm like, I know there's going to be a huge wait. Are we going to get a tape? I hate that.
Well, Pequods is always pretty jammed, but ever since they made some list, I can't remember what it was, of the number one pizza in America about 6 months ago, that they are now ridiculously packed all the time. So you have to make a reservation. You can make one. So
you can.
Made one for 10 people, and we got the one table that
said
holds
like
10.
a middle finger emoji when you selected it.
Well, we went there. It's upstairs, and I've never even sat upstairs at Pequods before. So we go in there. It's 97 degrees. Hot air rises. It's hot in there.
Oh, it's cooking. You could cook the pizza at your table.
Oh, my. So, of course, I say, well, listen, what we're getting here, first off, we're going to get smalls. And they go, what do you mean? We have 10 people here. I go, I understand. But through my experience and dedication, the smalls taste better. The big ones are good. And Case, back me up on this. Have you had Pequods?
I have, and once again, I don't trust you with everything, but I do trust you with food, and you are right on the money.
Smalls, for some reason, those smalls, it's more condensed with the sauce and the burnt crust, and it's perfect. And just get more smalls instead of 2 larges. So I ordered for everybody, of course. I'm like,
good Lord.
I'm like Robert De Niro.
Somebody wanted a sandwich. They're like, never mind. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Shut up, kid. You're eating this.
Shut your whore mouth. Your wife's poor cousin.
So we get the Pequods. It comes out. And, of course, they're all blown away. They love it. We got a couple of the sausage pepperoni and a couple of the Italian beef with giardiniera pizzas.
Well, it's good to get a vegetable option for
Yeah,
people.
that's right. But sitting there and eating the Pequods in 97 degrees, sweating, and it's already a little hot. The giardiniera is pretty perfect, but a little spicy, and even their pepperoni's a little spicy. And I was just like sweating and just dripping in it, even though the air conditioning was cranked in there. They did the best they could. And I felt like when I walked out of there, I took a bath in the deep dish pizza.
So, you know what I just imagine is your large arms reaching across to all the small pizzas so you could try everything. And just dripping sweat onto all the ones that you cross.
It could have been a little saltier, the pizzas, because of I was certainly.
Because he wouldn't be like, well, I'm not going to have the Italian people because it's all the way over there.
It's over there, yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely going to be like, pardon me.
Pardon me?
Dripping onto the pizza.
Not to mention, several kids were there, so we ended up getting onion rings, fries, chicken wings. Usually I don't want to get the apps because the pizza's so
heavy.
heavy.
How you said because of the kids, as if you didn't also have all of those things.
I wouldn't have ordered those. Okay, their wings are underrated. And so went through all of that. It just felt like I took a bath in deep dish pizza last night. And you know what? I didn't mind. It was glorious.
I was going to say, did you leave with a boner if that's how you felt?
It was a great day. It was a great night introducing out-of-towners to the deep dish experience at Pequods. And can't wait for more today after the show.
Are you going back?
No, we'll do other things. I kind of want to go back, though. No.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. What's it make your brain do? This kind of relates a little bit to your health. We talk about your brain blowing up when you hear the fact. So the Surgeon General of America wants to put a cigarette-like warning label on something we have every day in our lives. So meaning that like this, that's a terrifying warning label, that it's as bad as smoking cigarettes.
Is that what the label's going to say?
It will say something similar. I'm not sure. He wants this kind of label on it. So I'm not sure. I guess wording it with whatever, blah, 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 and putting in this thing for cigarettes, but it's that dangerous to your health and your body and your mind. And all of us have this in our lives every day.
Can I guess?
Sure. I'm not going to say you're right or wrong.
A microwave.
A microwave. Good guess.
My brother, which is very odd because he smokes and drinks a lot, decided that
Those things have warnings on them.
He thought that the microwave was too unhealthy for his family. I guess on him because he watched a video. He told me this because he's like, "Oh, please don't heat my food up in the microwave." By the way, like he just took a smoke break, but it's fine. He's like, and I go, "Why?" And he goes, "I watched a video." He goes, and I can't get it out of my head that they had two plants, the same kind of plant, and every day when they gave it water for 1 week. One plant they just put water in, one plant they put water in the microwave and then put it in the plant. And that plant was dead at the end of the week.
Wow.
And he goes, now I just I can't use a microwave. I can't do it. And I'm like, you should watch a video on smoking. So you can't do that anymore. But
he's like, ah.
But now I think about it and I heat my food up in the microwave, but I've started to try to avoid doing it for my kids. Like it bothers me. Like I won't put a bottle in there for the baby. And Tristan, I try to do more of my a toaster oven.
Sure.
Or so I'm trying. Kind of a pain in the ass, but
I can tell you this. I've lived in apartments, condos, whatever I've lived in my entire life. I probably lived in 14 or 15 different places as far as that. And several of those apartments, the oven never turned on. Meaning,
because you didn't turn it on.
Because everything was cooked in the microwave.
Amen.
My man, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I remember I left one apartment, and they try to get the deposit back, and they go, well, make sure you clean the oven. And I go, it's clean as when you guys came in here. When you guys cleaned it. When you guys cleaned it, it's that clean.
My last apartment, I never used the oven.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I lived there.
That is unbelievable to think of. I use my oven more than once a day.
No, I lived in that apartment from January of 21 until July of 22. And I guess I know where the oven was, but I never even
that's good.
I never even thought about it. I never pulled it out just to be like, oh, there's the oven.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how though? Don't you guys ever make anything?
Well, I do now. I do use. Yeah, Case doesn't.
Well, I do now, but
listen,
not
I take Case home every day because we live near each other, and usually he walks to the Jewel right after I drop him off to go get something that he will nuke up.
Hold on. More often than not, what I say is I'm out of drinks. I need to go get drinks.
I mean, that's a fact. But the other side of it is you grab something to eat because I got nothing to eat. I better find something at Jewel.
Well, that is true.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Go.
So you got that part right. But I'm telling you, there's been several of those apartments that I left, and they were like, great job in keeping the oven clean.
Yeah, what can I say?
Here's
house.
Here's your entire deposit back. I go, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Did anybody live here? Nothing's been used.
The microwave was a mess, though. That took a lot of cleaning. But Case, you can guess, too, if you'd like. I mean, the Surgeon General wants to put a warning label, like a cigarette-type warning thing, on something we use every day. It's in everybody's lives every day.
I hope it's not Mountain Dew. I'm afraid it's going to be Mountain Dew.
Okay, well, listen, I'm not going to tell you guys an answer. I'm not going to react.
Well, I can tell you what, Case. Regardless of what the answer is, you should drink less Mountain Dew.
I've got one right now. I've got the brand new Freedom Fusion sitting next to me, lemonade and peach flavored.
Wow, Liv Moss.
It's delicious. Liv Moss, baby.
All right, we'll tell you what it is in 5 minutes coming back here at 6:30.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, it is time for a fact that makes your brain go. Now, the Surgeon General of the United States said he wants to put a cigarette-like warning label on something that all of us, it's in our lives every day. Kenzie guessed a microwave. That is not correct, but a good answer. Case said Mountain Dew. It's not Mountain Dew.
Thank God.
What it is, something we are using every day, it's in our lives every day, is social media. Now, I've heard things like this before about warnings with it, but never like a cigarette type of warning, meaning how dire it is and how dangerous social media is to your mental health. Exactly the words he used were, it's time to require a warning label on social media platforms, stating that social media is associated with significant mental health harms for adolescents. It's 95% of teens between the age of 13 and 17 say they use social media platforms, and 1/3 say a negative connotation, whether it's bullying, whether it's whatever, the things they see on it just in general can be harmful, that you're not even trying to find anything dark or scary or depressing. So a third, all of them are on it basically, 95%, and a third say they've seen that, which I think that's a low number probably anyway. It's probably higher than a third that there's some kind of negative thing going on.
I can honestly say, because I got to grow up on the cusp where I had no socials, phones weren't popular or whatever, and then I got to high school and everyone had a phone, you had social media. So I got to have both, right? Getting a phone ruined everything for me when I was that age. Absolutely everything. So without a doubt, I agree with that. I stopped enjoying school. I had significantly less friends. I felt sad even at home because you can't get away from stuff. It follows you. You're not like, oh, I'm out of that place now, I feel better. It follows you, right?
Would you say, are you saying just because of using it or because of bullying or something through it?
Both. I think both. Because I think that, one, you compared yourself to a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I don't look like that. I don't do that. I don't have that. You had a lot of that kind of stuff seep into your life. And then the combination of people not making you feel good or what, because there's different ways to do that. So you think there's very obvious, I'm going to write something mean on your photo, right? Which still happens to this day, even as adults.
Sure.
There's also things when you're that age that are catty, say your friends want to be mean to you, so none of them like your picture, and you notice that, the people can do things like that, alienate you.
Sure.
And you're like, is my friend group mad at me? That can happen when you're that young. They can all, it's a different way of bullying.
And it's got to be way different for a girl than a guy. Although, guys, I'm not leaving you out. I mean, it's certainly same thing. I was blessed because I didn't have any of it in high school or college, but I got to have it as an adult when I was already, well, let me use this term loosely, well-adjusted. I could handle hate. I could handle, because I can laugh it off when I'm already 30 years old using social media. And I also got to see the progression of it a little better starting at MySpace, which was a joy. MySpace was fun. MySpace didn't have any negative connotation at all. It was about music, entertainment, friends, fun, and it never had a negative take, which is amazing that it ended because it was the best.
It was the only one that
I was just reading an article about Tom, who he sold it for $580 million, which is a lot, but not in the billion world we're in now. And he basically tapped out. He tried to stay with MySpace, which is funny. He's tried to stay on as a COO or CEO. And he said, I left after a year because of all the negative meetings and nobody could make a decision. And I'm like, well, this isn't what I created. I'm leaving, even though he sold it and made $500 million.
Right.
But even when he ran it, it didn't have that. So I'm lucky personally that I got to see social media later. And I'm not saying it doesn't screw up well-adjusted adults' lives either, because we've seen the division of hate with polarization, especially this time of year in politics and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And also socially, too, with people just having an opinion for no reason. And mainly a lot trolls that aren't even from Chicago that will go on there and troll all the murders in Chicago, just like to troll continuously. Now, Case only grew up with social media because he's that young.
And look at how he turned out.
He's a peach.
I love social media. I think it's great. I don't know.
Well, Case has 8 burner accounts that harasses everybody.
I made a bunch of friends through it. I discovered a bunch of cool things through it. I don't know. I think it's great. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I will tell you that I love it too.
Yeah, Instagram's awesome.
I'm not anti-social media. I love it. It just opens up a door with no accountability with the people that want to be mean or negative or whatever. There's no accountability. But
there is, and honestly, if you're one of those people with a dog as your profile picture, but you're writing mean things about people, you're a loser. It's not nice to treat people like that.
Their dog's nice, though, for the profile
it's not the dog's
picture.
Fault, obviously. I'm aware the paws aren't out there, really,
The poor dog is representing the person.
Yeah.
The poor dog out there.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
But I agree with you. I'm glad we have it. I love it. But also, I've learned to just laugh off morons.
I do think it needs to be used more responsibly, though. So it can be used for good, and it can be fun, and people can keep up with you and all that. But I think it's overly used. I think we're pushed to use it.
Oh, 100%.
Even at work and stuff like that, you're pushed to use it. And most jobs, like my friend's a real estate agent. She just uses it all the time to post listings and stuff like that. So it's so heavily pushed into people's lives, and that's the issue. And I think that's why MySpace went better, because you did not think you weren't on MySpace, probably not, for 15 plus hours a day.
Oh, I was on there for a while.
It wasn't as accessible. Like you had to go to a desktop
you
and
couldn't
sit down.
Couldn't do it on your phone, right?
So you got to go on, think that was fun, see some pictures, and then leave. And instead, like, this thing follows us around on our phone. That's the issue.
But I will tell you, when I got home, I went on MySpace instantly on the desktop and checked out what was going on. Like, it had an addiction factor to it then, too. It just was all fun. And AOL was fun, the chat rooms and stuff. I love that.
Well, I've actively in my life tried to be like, I post what I need to post and stuff like that, but I've tried to limit like my scrolling and participation too much, because there's things that you need to do, and it's fun to get stuff out there. Like, I love to post Kenzie's Crimes, which, we'll do at 8:20 today, right?
Yep.
I'm going to post that in case anybody missed it and wants to hear it. But I'm not going to then be on for 30 minutes doing a bunch of little things. Like, I try to have a little separation. Like, I want to be present with my kids, and I don't like that to consume me.
I'm curious if our listeners, like, limit time, have gotten off Facebook completely. I know friends that do that already. They've gotten off certain platforms or all of them completely, and they say they're happier.
That's the dream. I think when I retire, I will probably delete all social media. Or I'll have like my picture, like everything will be gone, and I'll use it to look at like my kids' posts at that point, and that's gonna be it. I'm gonna be one of those.
God, if I could ever retire, I'm gonna put everything up.
Don't count on it.
My guitar playing, I'm just gonna put up playing blues. I'm gonna do all that. But I'm curious on our listeners what you've done with it. I mean, obviously we communicate with you guys perfectly through that any time of the day, which is a joy to be able to do that. And starting in radio when you couldn't do that, it sucked for sure. Social media has improved that with the way we can talk to you guys. But so there's a cigarette-like warning label on social media. That's what the Surgeon General wants. Now let's go back a little bit, because it's fun and terrifying to play old cigarette ads on the radio, because this is actually how cigarettes in the 50s were promoted. And here you go.
You know, if you were to follow a busy doctor as he makes his daily round of calls, you'd find yourself having a mighty busy time keeping up with him. Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette.
For many men of medicine.
I gotta say, anything in that voice, I'm sold. I immediately trust the spokesperson.
Let's listen to him more.
And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose.
By the way, so he's smoking a cigarette in his office, and the nurse comes up and hands him some papers, and he's like, "Thank you," and he just takes a big puff and blows it.
That's badass. This is
like
awesome.
Ways to get cancer papers.
I mean, listen, I'm laughing at it now. We're laughing. Of course, these ads killed millions of people. Okay, there's no question.
Wow.
There's no question they did.
No, you're right. I've never thought about it like that.
But
I just thought they were funny ads.
Okay, well, stop playing it. No, you've ruined it. You've tainted the experience.
But just enjoy anyway.
In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" What?
This is your favorite thing.
I can't stop it. This is my YouTube wormhole, like, every couple months.
Once again, the brand named most was Camel.
Of course.
Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Can you imagine? More doctors smoked Camels than anybody else.
Well, it's natural. It's like, it's an animal.
Sure.
It comes from the earth.
Why not change to Camels for the next 30 days?
Now they're showing just some beautiful woman like a Marilyn Monroe lighting up a cigarette here.
And see what a difference it makes in your smoking enjoyment. See how Camels agree with your throat. See how mild and good-tasting a cigarette can be.
See, Kenzie can't see my computer, but Case can. Do you see that girl? She almost winked there. She took a puff
I
and
know,
went like...
she looks like a starlet. She's incredible.
And she just gave this like
What
really...
makes you want to smoke?
I don't. Give me a cigarette now.
Yeah, the seductive look.
This is influencers back in the day.
It is.
This is just influenced.
It is.
I gotta be honest. I'm no doctor. But I can't believe that a bunch of people sat in a room that were and didn't see any issue with inhaling smoke.
You know what? The warnings to it and all the stuff, the tar and the nicotine, they just were like, no. Well, obviously they knew. The people that own cigarette companies, they knew it was dangerous.
But why didn't doctors? Because it seems common sensey.
I don't think the guy in the commercial is a real doctor.
The ones, but if you asked any doctor, what is it? 30% of them preferred Camels.
We're going to play Cranberries. Maybe you can Google that and see if were doctors really asked what cigarette brand they smoked.
Quite a deep dive to fact check this commercial.
It's a 4-minute song.
I will see if there's an article fact checking that ad. I will see.
If all the doctors really did prefer Camels.
What's the name of the YouTube video precisely?
I'll show you in the song. Okay. Here we go.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 coming up at 7:10. Just about 20 minutes away, we'll have NASCAR Chicago Street Race tickets, and you'll see the Black Keys if you beat Kenzie in trivia. Now, right before the Cranberries, we were talking about one of the biggest news stories of the last 24 hours where the Surgeon General wants cigarette-like warning labels on social media, specifically for kids that are 13 to 17. Social media, though, does affect any age group in a negative way in a lot of ways. Again, I love it, and I use it every day, and I think it's a great way to communicate with you guys and just see things that I never would have seen. But there's a downside to it because of the negativity that can be involved with bullying or just comparing yourself and all that kind of thing. Now, the cigarette ads of the 50s, we just played one before the break, how it talked about how cigarettes were good. And then cigarette warnings came around, and those terrible ads of people like with the machines to talk.
Oh, my gosh.
No, if those don't work and get you off smoking, I don't know what will.
I don't know.
I don't know. But these were the ads in the old days. And Kenzie fact-checked and found a great stat that we'll play after the audio here on did doctors really promote and recommend smoking back then in the 50s?
Doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Oh, this is good. So you found some answer on this.
So I found some answers. So I'm going to give you a little background. I actually didn't even tell you this part, okay? So the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company created a medical division.
Nice.
And paid for its advertising in medical journals, okay? Mm-hmm. They began paying for their own research and then also paying for that research to run in medical journals.
Got it.
In 1946, they launched the campaign slogan, "More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette." They solicited these findings by giving doctors a free carton of Camel cigarettes and then asking what brand they were smoking while holding the free cigarettes.
Now that is how you run a company. That's how you win, baby.
That's how you win.
I mean, we give away free Q101 shirts like a picnic all weekend. I mean,
what shirt do you love to wear?
What radio station do you like?
Now?
Q101. Holy crap, is that shady? Because, I mean, what are you going to do? Someone just gave you free cigarettes. I like Camels.
Well, it's smart, though. If I opened up a medical journal, I wouldn't think like, man, I bet somebody's paying to be in here. I'd think, well, it's a medical journal. I trust it. No, it turns out, giant ad.
And then also, how smart that they knew they couldn't run it as the tobacco company, so they launched a medical division in within the tobacco company.
Oh, God.
And then paid to run that. So when you read who it was from, it says the medical company, not the tobacco company.
It sounds like something you see in The Simpsons where it's like, sponsored by Camel. You know, like, smoking is good, sponsored by Camel.
I feel like we have to give a round of applause to Camel. I mean, brainiacs over there. Yeah, give it up.
I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Just to be fair, don't smoke. There's no happy ending. That's a Brian and Kenzie, in case the producer, message for you today.
We think smoking's bad for you.
I feel bad. I know a lot of friends that are addicted. Like they've tried to quit several times. It's impossible, and I feel so bad for them because they've tried everything.
Well, way to really lift them up on this journey of trying to quit.
That's right. But props to Camel for how they got you addicted.
Well, I appreciate a good ad when I see it.
Listen, somebody worked hard to get their marketing degree.
Thank you.
Here's Gil Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. Paul McCartney turns 82 today. He'll celebrate with his new song, Strawberry Ensure Forever. Final copies of Coldplay's next album will be made from recycled plastic bottles. So it'll be figuratively and literally trash. Walmart is opening a private label fashion line called No Boundaries. Perfect for many Walmart customers whose waistlines have no boundaries. And a hummingbird eats twice its body weight each day. Great news for many Americans who can now say, I'm eating like a bird. This is not headline news.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.